Hi, Andre again here, and welcome to our journey using financial statements as a way to engage and acquire new commercial customers.
Our scorecard shows our income statement, or the way that we make money, and we combine that with our balance sheet, or the way that we create wealth, into the 5 key chapters of our financial statement story. Starting off with growth and how effectively do we grow our organization. Then in chapter 2, we convert growth into superior profitability. Of course, chapter 3 is all about the balance sheet. And then chapter 4 is about the king. And that tells us how effectively we are managing the first 3 chapters. And lastly, we talk about the return on our capital employed, representing the return that we create on the invested dollar. At this point, we can simply measure the impact of different strategies. For example, the plan was not to grow by 23%, but to grow by 30%. What impact would that have on the business? Automatically, we have converted our financials into a 30% growth rate of business. Is this good or bad growth? The key question is that we have to create a communication system in order to measure the impact of doing something to our business. Simply, we do that by pressing the net change button. What this shows us is the impact of that additional growth rate from 23 to 30%, showing us that we require an additional $200,000 of revenue, producing a net benefit to our income statement of some $34,000. This allows us to evaluate the impact of that additional growth, showing a profitability improvement by just over half a cent per revenue dollar. However, we do require $6,000 worth of additional cash in order to fund that growth. Why do we need that cash?
What our cash flow management shows us is 3 critical areas of reviewing cash. The first area is what is our actual cash flow. Then what we want to do is to look at that what if cash flow, and then lastly the impact of doing something. In this case, the suggestion was what if we could grow by $200,000, and why is it that we require an additional $6,000 of cash to fund that growth?
Returning to our scorecard, we have the ability to dig deeper into each of our key focus areas. For example, let's take chapter 2, profitability management. Why is our profitability declining from 13 to 12 cents in the revenue dollar? Automatically, we notice that our margins are declining from nearly 42 cents in the revenue dollar to about 38 cents. So obviously, what we're wanting to determine is what is the cost of margin destruction. We simply change our margins to exactly what they were last period, and we can evaluate what this cost of margin destruction is. Clearly, we notice that a 4 percentage point reduction in our margins cost us, from an opportunity viewpoint, about $146,000 of operational profit and about $114,000 of net cash, showing how sensitive those margins are and what happens if we grow and we discount whilst we're growing. Return to our original numbers, and once again we can investigate chapter 3. For example, we notice that our inventories have grown from an average 88-day holding to about 122, and yet we've grown our business significantly. So what cash consumption did that inventory growth require in our balance sheet? Let's have a quick look. Once again, I've just returned it to what we did achieve, so there's no specific improvement, and we can quickly evaluate that impact of that cash flow as we see that that additional 34 days, that movement from that 88 days, that created an additional consumption of $221,000. In other words, our business would have been better off. We would have had $221,000 more in the bank if we had not done that same profit, same growth, same everything else. Scorecard and undo. And the story continues. Of course, from a cash management viewpoint, there are so many great little insights that we can drive and show how cash is created or absorbed when we grow or decline our business. And lastly, of course, that return on that invested dollar, which is the combination of how we manage the income statement and the balance sheet. Great learning for many organizations where they need to focus their scarce resources. Our story doesn't end there. What we now have is the ability to take our learning from our one-page scorecard and project those learnings into the future. Simply by, let's say, for example, if we wish to look at the next 90-day business plan, we click on our budget, press wizard, and this allows us to quickly establish what our future holds based on our different planning. And let's say, for example, in the last 90 days, we believe our business is going to be doing about $1.2 million. We look at roughly the same kind of margins. Our average variable cost is the same. Our fixed cost will increase slightly because we might be recruiting some additional people. Our depreciation will change a little bit because we've got a little bit of capital expenditure. Our average cost of debt is the same. We're going to focus on the receivables. We noticed what that did in our one-page scorecard. We're going to bring that down to 50 days. Our average inventory days, yes, there's going to be a big focus on that. Get that down to 110 days. And we're going to pay our vendors slightly quicker, and we're going to spend $6,000 on technology, which is our capital expenditure budget. We simply click update, and that provides us with our next 90-day plan, allowing us to evaluate our one-page scorecard, which allows us to see the effectiveness of our future strategy, specifically measured within our 5 key chapters to the financial statement story. And now we have a way not only to evaluate our past, but also see how our future strategies will impact our financial performance. I'm sure by now there are many questions. The most important is, how would our relationship managers deliver this capability so that our customer truly understands the value of what they're about to receive? Well, our recommendation is to use a tool very similar to this, either in printed material or in electronic version, allowing the relationship manager to discuss and explain the value that is about to be presented. The starting point, of course, is how we align what we're about to do with the bank's mission and vision, which is ultimately to provide insightful solutions that drive value with a critical business focus. What we want to explain is that we do understand our customers' needs of requiring and maximizing consistent profit with good and superior business returns, the ability to focus on scarce resources, and also obviously to consistently improve financial literacy to make better decisions. Most of us know that this is really important, but at the same point, we do understand that it is relatively hard to do. The answer is yes, the only business scorecard being our financial statements. However, we know that it is difficult to communicate what our numbers are truly telling us. In that regard, what we're about to give you today, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, is a capability that takes your numbers, converts it into a story. It has 3 characters, 5 chapters, and is delivered into one nice, efficient, interactive scorecard. Our 3 characters is revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and obviously cash is king. And this is just a little bit of fun, but it's really the ability to get people involved and integrated in how various decisions are made within your financial statements. The 5 key chapters are what the 5 areas that we focus the business on, being growth and how we convert growth into superior profitability with rigorous balance sheet management, producing the right cash, and ensuring that you optimize the value of your investment in your business. And here is our one-page scorecard that takes the income statement and the balance sheet and integrates it with those 5 key focus areas of your business. And this application allows you to do those key what-ifs, understand how different decisions impact your cash and your profit and your returns, allows you to do your budgeting, and effectively helps you manage your business better using your financial statements as the key vehicle to do so. So what is the mission of our capability? Well, we really have 3 focal areas. We want to have a capability that can communicate the story behind the numbers. We want to facilitate powerful learning, and we want to have the ability to plan for the future. And we take those 3 key areas, and that allows us to identify opportunities to improve our business performance. So what is this capability? Essentially, this capability is a financial statement performance tool that integrates the income statement, the balance sheet, and cash management. It provides you with real-time what-ifs and measures the financial impact of different strategies. Your key benefits that you derive from this is essentially you facilitate performance communication amongst a diverse area of your functional managers so that you can show people this is what's happened, this is how we make these improvements. You can integrate your various what-ifs inside your one-page scorecard, and you can create sustained learning through a repetitive process that allows you to ensure that people connect their decisions with their key performance outcomes. Well, what do you get with this tool? Essentially, what we believe is we're building knowledge. We are and we have to provide you with the application to deliver that knowledge, and we try and do it in a very efficient way, and that is the one-page scorecard. So people use our program for doing a whole variety of things: identifying opportunity, engineering value in their business, measuring strategy, creating an efficient balance sheet. Remember, that's one of the things that we've always been talking about is not only do you need to make profit, but you need to make cash as well. That's what we call an efficient balance sheet. I suppose the last three key areas that we use the capability for is to manage our risk and generate more cash, and also help our team to perform better. We are going to show you over time that there is a very easy but proven performance methodology behind this tool. So it's not just technology, there is technology with learning. And yes, it starts with an annual discipline. We then cascade that annual discipline into quarterly key performance milestones, and then we use the monthly numbers to stress test to see that we are achieving our quarterly milestones that ultimately allow us to achieve our goal for the full financial year. So how this whole thing works? Well, we've just had our little presentation, and we try to give you a quick overview of what you're about to receive. Fairly shortly, we will provide you with a link that you will download the software. You'll install that on your desktop or laptop or whatever device you are using, and we also will support this with weekly or monthly live webinars of training, and this will ultimately drive a community of interest that people can talk about standard ways of managing their financial performance. And then, yes, we have a couple of questions, and I'm sure that you can go through that at your leisure, allowing us to ultimately give you what we think will help you manage your business better. And essentially, that is an example of how we can use our relationship managers to deliver this value offer to our customer or prospective customer, create that level of engagement. This is our capability of allowing the customer to get the value that we're about to give them, as well as making it very simple and easy for the relationship manager to do the delivery.